When I turned 12, the gangs in my town in El Salvador started following me to and from school. They said I had to join their gang, but when I said no, they started to hurt me. They hurt me so badly that I had to go to the hospital and get stitches on my cheek. I was so scared of the gang that I stopped going to school. I saw what they did to other kids in the community. Some kidnapped, some raped or beaten, and some disappeared or murdered. Then they beat up my little sister and started waiting outside my family's house. I was so afraid for my sister, and I was so afraid for myself. They were really scary people, and I knew they could hurt me again. I cried so much thinking about leaving my home, my sister, and my mom, and my friends, and school. But I knew I had to leave. I didn't have a choice if I wanted to live. I spent weeks traveling by bus and walking, trying to get from El Salvador to America. I was alone and so scared. I finally got to the US border. I was put in a place with other kids like me. I didn't know what was going to happen. After a few weeks, they told me I was going to be taken to my uncle. I was so happy to be with my uncle. He gave me a soccer ball when I met him, and he helped me go back to school. It was hard making friends at first because I didn't really speak English, but it was fun to learn and I started to make some friends. My teachers were really nice too. I was so happy to be learning again. My uncle was worried though, because he said we needed help so that I could stay with him and I had to go back to El Salvador. I was terrified of going back there because of the gangs. I knew they would try to kill me. He couldn't find anyone to help me, and we were both getting worried. But one day, one of my teachers told me about a group called Kind that helped kids like me. We went to an office where they asked me a lot of questions about life. I remember them asking why I was scared to leave my home and why didn't I go to school anymore. At first, it was hard to talk about everything that happened. It made me feel really anxious. But they were nice and made me feel okay. I got to draw some pictures while they talked, which helped. I remember I drew a picture of a house and me outside playing soccer. They told me that they could help me. I met lots of time with a woman who helped me tell everything that happened to me and why I was afraid to go back. She was a volunteer who wanted to help me and said she knew all about the rules and how to fill out all the papers. She told me that I would have to tell my story with a person who was going to decide whether I could stay with my uncle or if I would have to go back. This was the judge. My volunteer, who was a lawyer, worked very hard for me. I couldn't believe that someone I didn't even know cared about me and wanted to help me be safe. I started to think about her as my friend and I liked going to see her. When it was time to see the judge, I was really nervous and scared, but my lawyer told me she would be right next to me the whole time and help me as much as she could. The judge wasn't as scary as I thought she would be. She asked me questions about things that happened at home, but I was able to answer them because I worked very hard with my lawyer to be able to tell them without getting too sad. After hearing my story, the judge said I could stay here. I was so happy I cried. My uncle cried and lawyer cried too.